Right, I think we are live. Hey guys, can you hear me? Hey, Chris, Stuart, Rob, howdy. Oh, I need to. Hey guys, can you hear me? Pull. There we go. Make sure the phone's up there. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a few more minutes whilst people stream in. Hey, Tariq on YouTube, on Facebook. Hey, folks, we're just getting all spooled up. And Rob, yeah, the trading pub is at 2 as standard. I just wanted to continue with the flow that we had on Friday. That was an awesome session. Stuart said Elon needs to be bigger and slightly to the left. What, as in him? That's like the corner of the wall. He's literally right up against the wall as it can be. So right. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's because it's bank holiday and everyone's doing bank holiday stuff. But normally by now at 12:01, we have a lot more people in. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes and then we'll crack on. Apologies, folks. So who do we have here on Facebook? Oh, nice. Gary, I like my canvases. Yeah, this is very much like a teenager's bedroom. So, but hey, I like it. It's only be this. Oh yeah, hey Chris.
You're right. What's that one you've got in the bottom right-hand corner? The 𝗁𝗃 poster, your own one.
Oh yeah. So this is when I did a TED talk. Well.
Oh yeah.
And what happened is, whilst I was talking, they did it for every speaker at the time. There was like an illustrator who was basically illustrating as I was talking, and this was my. Sorry, on Facebook, you can't really see it that well. But she was basically just drawing everything I was saying. And this is why this TED Talk was all about the education system and why I think teachers should have a basic salary of 60 grand a year.
Yeah, I've seen it. Good.
But yeah, so my ideas and thoughts have changed a lot since then. So this was, I don't know what year it was. 2015, I don't know. Oh, everyone's in. Sorry, admit all. Sorry, everyone's trying to get into Zoom. Yeah, this is like 2015, 2016, and my views have changed a lot since I did this. So if you find the YouTube recording on YouTube, my views have changed somewhat because I've pivoted my thoughts based on new data.
It looks good.
But yeah, so. But hey ho. Cool. Right. I think it's time to get going. Got enough of us here now. Hey, folks, thanks for being here. I know we're starting 3 minutes late, but I just thought let everyone filter through. So, like on Friday, we are going to go through people's business or money or life hurdles, which then resulted in a subsequent win. But whilst we do that, I had a question. Oh, I can't remember who. His name was David. I forgot. I'm so sorry. Whichever David this is, I forgot what surname. And the question was something like, we've heard all about your current businesses, yada, yada, yada. But how did you, what were your earlier fails? Because I say a lot that I failed loads of different types of businesses whilst trying to get into the whole business journey. And so I think he wanted the lowdown on the on all of the fails I had. So I'm going to quickly go through that. And whilst, oh man, I forgot. I'm trying to get my pen sorted, but I forgot to map it to the right freaking screen. Sorry, one sec. screen monitor 1. There we go. Done. Yeah. So first of all, so what happened was that I was not really, I'm not an entrepreneurial type person by nature, I don't think. I think I've learned it, but definitely not by nature. And the reason being is that I did a few bits and bobs when I was a kid, but I had no staying power when I was a kid. Like I did a paper round and I freaking hated it and I quit within a week. I was looking at basically all the walking I had to do for something like £3 an hour or probably less. And I was like, screw this. I'm not doing a paper round. And there was once, in fact, this is the end of my paper round. I was like 14 years old or something like that. I'd done it for like 4 days. They paid me at the end of every day, which is good. And then I ended up having to plaster a whole bunch of newspapers in this neighborhood way from my house. And I just like, I gave up. And then I actually called for a taxi to take me home at the end of that shift. And I spent all of the money I earned that week on that taxi fare home. So that was the end of my paper round when I was a kid. And I didn't really do any business type stuff until many years later. And then I was in the Air Force and 𝗷𝘂𝗵𝗃, so 𝗪𝗃𝗶𝗃, you, sir, are a legend. He approached me, simple text message said, "Hey, Simon, you're an ambitious bloke. Are you open-minded to a potential business opportunity?" That was literally the text message. And like I'd never been in business before, and I was still in the Air Force. I was a pilot back then. And then I was like, yeah, okay, why not? So I met up with him, and what actually happened was that he was doing the utility warehouse. And so my first foray into business was actually the utility warehouse. Now I know there's lots of pros and cons with UW, and lots of haters and lovers of UW. I sit firmly on the fence with UW. And I've been on both sides. I've been a hater of UW. I've been a fan of UW. So I want to put the record straight. In terms of return on investment, it was a great return on investment. I think it cost me £100 to become an authorized distributor, selling gas, electricity, mobile phone plans and all that sort of stuff. So return on investment was great because I put £100 in and I got back thousands. So that was good. Return on time investment, absolutely dog shit. And it is absolutely dreadful. So like anything, I always go head first into something without really thinking. And so I plowed all of my spare time into UW. This is when I was like 23. Probably 23, 24. Now, the pros of UW, and I guess most MLMs out there, multi-level marketing schemes, or I think network marketing, there's lots of different terms. So I've got chia seeds stuck in my teeth. The training is exceptional. So what they took is, a fresh canvas like myself. You do some mandatory sales training, which is like a whole day of training. And then once a week in pretty much every town, there was like I think they called it a COP, a career opportunity presentation, I think. And that was pretty good. And so I learned a lot from going from knowing nothing about business, and they just thrust you into the whole world of self-development, like learning all about Jim Rohn, Les Brown, all of these legends of, the self-help world. And I guess it really got me into the whole world of self-help, self-development and all that, which is great. So that was good. Now, the thing with MLMs is that it's all about the product. It really is. Because if the company has a shit product, then so there's a very thin line between pyramid scheme and a legitimate network marketing company. So if you look at companies like Amway or some of these other things, where if the company makes most of its money from getting distributors and not the actual product, then it's getting on verge of a pyramid selling scheme. Whereas sometimes you have a company where the product is really freaking good, and it just happens to have like a community network marketing sort of element to it. I would say 99.99% of MLMs out there are dog shit scams. And I think there's a few out there which have lasted the test of time. I think Herbalife is still there because it's got some good, aloe vera products. UW is still there, has some good products actually. Yeah, so I'm not here gonna knock MLMs, etc. But here's the thing: I'm a data-driven person, and sorry, let's go back. I put every penny of or every joule of energy I had into UW, and for 18 months I beasted it. I got shitloads of customers. I built a massive team of like 150 distributors in my team because that's what they wanted you. They wanted you to build a team of other distributors and get customers. So I did it. And in 18 months, I became one of their top 40 distributors. Out of something like 7,000 distributors, I was in the top 40. And then I looked at what happened. I spent 18 months busting a gut. And what was the maximum residual income I got? I was only earning £450 a month. £450 a month, and I was in the top 40 distributors in the whole of UW in terms of what happened. And then that, because I'm data driven, always have been data driven, I then started looking for stats, and guess what? 0.15%. This stat stuck with me. 0.15% of all MLM or network marketing distributors or resellers out there make more than $500 per month, which is nuts. 0.15% of all MLMers make more than $500 a month. So that means, what is that? 99.85% of all MLMers make less than $500 a month globally. That's a global stat, by the way. Obviously, there's bound to be outliers and whatnot, but yeah. And then I saw that, and then twinned with my own experience of like, holy shit, I spent 18 months busting a gut and I've got nothing. So as I said, return on investment, put 100 quid in, and I've got like 450 quid a month for the next, I don't know, couple of years. I think they still send me like 60 quid a month because of the residual element, but yeah, whatever. Terrible return on time investment though. And then I realized I could just put all of that time and effort in my own business and then own the company, as in my own company. And then so I do have to thank, and by the way, I do know some UW people who are raking it in. Like there's a guy called Steve Critchley, who at the time, I don't know what it is now, it's been a good 10 years since I did it or whatever. He was earning 85 grand a month when I was in. There's another guy called Jimmy Chapman, who was on like 50 grand a month. So of course, in every company, you're going to have the stars that are raking it in. And they're all really lovely people. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, I'm not knocking it at all. It's great. I mean, if you have zero, in fact, if you want to get into business and you have no sales training or experience whatsoever, join an MLM because they will teach you. They will, in fact, join UW. They give you free sales training sessions. Like you literally rock up to a hotel and for a whole day, they'll just teach you how to sell. So I think it's worth it just for that. And you can do it once a month, unlimited amount of times. Just don't get too caught up in the Kool-Aid like I did. Anywho, so that was my first little foray. For those that just joined, I saw a bunch of people here. The question was, what were the early fails I did in business? And then I'm going to hand the mic over to you folks. I knew nothing about business. I then fell into another MLM called Simply Naturals. Some sort of whatever. I only did it for like a month or two. It's just, yeah. And I quickly realized I didn't learn from my error. And then I set up my first little business. Oh man. And I was still in the Air Force at this point. Basically, I've been doing martial arts since I was like 3. I mean, I'm half Thai, so you can't be Thai and not know Muay Thai kickboxing. And then I did a bit of Taekwondo when I was at school. And anyway, so I set up a business called 𝑠iam's Little Ninjas. Oh, this is embarrassing. Yeah, so I am basically for about 2 months, I taught self-defense to kids in schools, like 16-year-olds, basically. That was not embarrassing, but I remember the last time I did when I was like, oh, screw this. I rocked up to the school. So the school got me on. They actually paid me. I think it was like 50 quid or whatever. I rocked up, and this was at the 𝗁𝗏𝑡 school in Norwich. A bit of a dodgy school. Anyway, I rocked up, and there was supposed to be something like 50 kids. The headmaster said, yeah, there's going to be 50 children there to learn self-defense, blah, blah, blah. I rocked up, 0 kids. No one turned up. So I don't know if the headmaster was stitching me up or whatever, but but yeah. Anyway, so I jacked in after that. It wasn't ever going to be a money earner. But the point I'm trying to make is that once I got into the business, sort of like once my heart was set that I had to get into business, it doesn't matter about the idea. And this is where people really get stumped. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get into business until I have $1 billion idea. It's bullshit. You don't need $1 billion idea. You just need an idea that'll chuck out 20 grand a month. That's all you need. No, hell, you need a business idea that'll chuck out 5 grand a month. And if you can maintain a business that chucks out 5 grand a month profit, then that elevates all of that weight off your shoulders. And then you can start thinking about other bigger things. It's all about stepping stones. Don't go from zero to hero. You have to do, you need that rite of passage. So then I was like, okay, all I know is basically flying. So I then set up a company called 𝗵𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗶 Aviation Services. Again, it's very embarrassing. Basically, it was doing helicopter corporate flights. So wedding helicopters, all that sort of stuff. And I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. Like people spend £300 to £500 on a freaking limousine for weddings and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I could do, a wedding helicopter flight. I could, fly in the groom and then fly the groom and bride out, and I was offering all of that for £530. And I thought, this is cheap as chips to fly into your own wedding, then fly out of your wedding. And I thought, yeah. Anyway, I had like 5 jobs on that. That was it. And that was the biggest waste of money ever. I spent £85,000 getting into debt, spending 85 grand getting my commercial helicopter pilot's license. So yeah, I had a CPLH, the worst amount of money ever. And there was me. I mean, these days I knock people, going to uni. Don't go to uni. You're going to get 50 grand in debt for a worthless degree that you'll never ever use in real life. And there I have 85 grand in debt with a pointless helicopter commercial pilot's license. Yeah, which I've never used. Never used is, yeah. So this is why I'm very anal about return on time investment and return on capital investment. I can't even find that license. I should probably frame it. It was the most expensive piece of paper I've ever had. It is literally that big. It's literally smaller than my palm. It's not even a big old thing. It's just a little booklet. Anyway, so what's next? Simon's Little Ninjas, 𝗵𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗶 Aviation. Yeah, then I became a bullion dealer. That was all right. UK bullion direct. No margin. It was 1.4% net profit margin. That was just horrendous. Got into some tax problems with that because I basically didn't have enough money. I think I've made YouTube videos on that. Basically took 18 months to get out of that hole. Then I created Silver Savers, the UK's first silver investment, silver savings plan. So you could set up a direct debit of like 300 quid a month. And every month you get silver delivered to your doorstep every single month. Didn't exist. I was like, what? How does this not exist? And that wasn't a bad business, actually. So I grew that and then sold it. Not much, though. I only sold it for 50K. So, but that was a business which I basically set up for nothing. So, and I sold it within a year. So set up from scratch, sold it. No, 18 months. Yeah, so I sold it 50K within 18 months. I just wanted to get out. I'd lost all my love of gold and silver after UK Bullion Direct was an absolute cluster mess. Then 𝗁𝗂𝗀 UK. I saw a YouTube channel of, in fact, I don't know if it's still on YouTube. Basically, I was sat at home one day and Ellie and I were like, what can we do a business together? And I was thinking of ideas of things that we could go into business together with. And then we came across bubble football. Some of you may have seen it. Basically, big old Zorbs, you're running around playing 5-sided football. Yeah. And guess what? This didn't exist in the UK. The closest place was Norway, I think, when we were looking at this. This was probably back in 2014, 2013, I think. And I was like, screw this. I'm going to do it myself. So I bought 12 Zorbs from China. And we set up 𝗁𝗂𝗀 UK, the UK's first bubble football company. And it was great to begin with. I wonder if Ellie Kid bubble football EDP. No. Nah, it's not there. One second. 𝗁𝗂 UK. We had a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. I don't know if they've been taken down now. Biggest bash. Here we go. 7 years ago, I did this. So this was a horrible business because what was happening is that stag do's were inviting us, or no, we'd basically facilitating stag do's, and the amount of people breaking up. Yeah, so this was it. And it was horrible. I would be driving this van all day long, you know, to a venue to set up, to deal with a bunch of pissed blokes on a stag do, them not listening to you, not listening to safety brief, breaking your kit. It then cost more. Sometimes there was once it cost more to fix the 𝗁𝗲𝗹𝗶 than we made on that gig. It was horrendous. And by the way, all of this, I was doing all of this business because I wanted to get more capital for my trading. I was a good trader at that point. And there was us driving this bloody white van to all these places going, I need to be trading. But yeah, anyway, so this was, yeah, we made loads of videos like this, 2013, of like biggest bash of the day or something like this. Here we go. That's me being the ref. Anyway, so I just want to see that again in slow-mo. That he must have got whiplash. Right, so let's get, how do I unshare the screen? So I've got my stop share. There we go. Sorry, my phone was in the way. Yeah, what else is there? Yeah, and then I also did some marketing consulting, but I stopped that within like a month. I just felt like a fraud. I don't know if anyone's ever felt imposter syndrome before. Because by then I'd probably spent a few years of, you know, YouTubing everything like marketing and stuff. And I was doing some Facebook marketing consulting on the side. And I got a couple of jobs from that, as in gigs, but I stopped it because there was a massive moral disconnect. I felt like a fraud because there was me doing Facebook ads for other companies. I mean, I was only charging like £200 a month. I mean, it was nothing. And I was just basically, maintaining their ad campaign and whatever. I mean, anyone can set up a Facebook ad campaign. It's not hard. But then I realized there was me doing these ad campaigns, and I'd never, up until that point, never really run a successful business before. And I thought, should I be doing this? Probably not. So I just stopped. But here's the thing. Imposter syndrome, most of the time, I would say, is to just ignore it. I really would. Everyone experiences imposter syndrome. The very first time you get into business, you will 100% feel imposter syndrome. You feel like, I shouldn't be doing this. If my customers found out I don't know what I'm doing myself, then they're going to leave. Like, just don't worry. Most of the time, I would say just ignore it. But if you ever had any moral qualms about something, then just stop it. And that's what I had with that Facebook marketing. Like, there was me probably spending, I don't know, £100 a month, 100, 200 quid a month on my own businesses in Facebook ads. And then there was me getting a gig, and I was managing a Facebook ad campaign for a company and running, £1,000 a day. And I felt way out of my depth. I thought, nah. And then in the end, I was just honest. I was like, I'm going to have to, this is my last month with you for whatever his name was. I just feel a bit out of my place here. I'm running. Yeah, I remember he was doing, I think, £1,000 a day in ad spend. And I was like, seriously, I only spend like £100 a month in my own business. You need to find someone else. So happily stack that in. In fact, we're still, friendly. So, can't remember his name though. Anyway, enough about me. So there are all my early fails. I hope that helps. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 freaking business projects I failed in the early years. And that was all from the age of 23 to 25 years old. So I did 8 projects in 2 years. So honestly, the business idea thing is bullshit. You don't need a crazy business idea. You just need something that will pay you to begin with, I don't know, hell, £1,000 a month. And then ideally get to £4,000 a month, £5,000 a month, etc. Right. So, David, hopefully that answers your question. Now I'm going to shut up. I want to finish my coffee, and we're going to open up the floor, and we're going to give it to you folks. Right. Like with Friday, We heard some really cool things. Alexander with his Amazon business, Pete Bennett with his YouTube business. We then had Gary Davies with his awesome foot golf business, if that's how you call it. Sam shared about her catering business, etc. So, right, let's open up the floor. Who fancies sharing a business, life, or money hurdle or shit show that they were going through, and then the subsequent win after it? Anyone? Come on. This is only for those on Zoom. And here's the consequence. If no one opens their mic, you're just going to be forced to listen to me for, for longer. Come on. I couldn't stop you guys on Friday. There was loads of people that wanted to share, and we just ran out of time. Come on. I'm going to be persistent here. Someone here must have had like a hiccup in their life, and then, or just a business win. Doesn't necessarily need to lead from a hiccup. No? You guys are quiet today. Rachel? No? I'm going to give it a few more seconds and then I'll move on. Fading that. Three, two, one. Well, this is embarrassing. Tumbleweed everywhere. Right. Let's move to a normal Q&A then. Yeah, everyone's holding out for crypto. Yes, it's crypto then. Okay, I'll talk about crypto. What do you want to know about crypto? Other than the fact that Ether has now hit over $3,000. It's insane. Do you know what's also insane? I have lost out on huge amounts of cost here. Kraken has been withholding a whole bunch of money from me, holding it hostage for about 4 weeks now. So basically, I sent the wrong, money to my Kraken account from the wrong bank account, and so they then go, "Oh no, wrong bank account," and so they've held it for about 4 weeks. Basically, all I remember is that Ether was about $1,700 when I went to send the money to put into Ether, and now it's over $3,000. I've lost out on huge amounts of loss there, or potential gain. Really frustrating. In fact, any questions, please just pop it in. Otherwise, we're just going to call this live session early. Peter says, MLM, Ponzi scheme, all the same ballpark. I could never make a living that way. My soul would die a slow death. Peter, I completely agree. That's how I felt, after 18 months of busting a gut in UW and then earning only 450 quid a month. It was just ridiculous. Alexander, do you still intend to invest into ETH? Yes, I do. So I guess for me, I don't think it's really controversial, but I've said for a while that we should easily see, $10,000 Ether and at least $5 Cardano and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, I'm looking at this from a sector race. And one of the biggest sectors at the moment is the smart contract platform race. At the moment, we have Ether or Ethereum there, which is like a horse-drawn cart, but it's been pimped out. So this horse-drawn cart has like Gucci wheels, it's got leather interior or pleather interior, etc., etc. And what's happening is that all of a sudden, this horse-drawn cart's got so much attention and it's doing things which it was never designed to do. And so they're gaffer taping all sorts of things that they can to it. They're putting a coffee machine in it, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, it's still a horse drawing a cart. It's ineffectual. And so that's why they're bringing out ETH 2.0 and they're trying to modernize it, but that's going to take freaking forever. And so we have, and everyone else knows this. I mean, look at the gas fees. It's costing an arm and a leg just to send stuff around. Anyway, it's costing like tens of dollars to just move money around at the moment, which is just stupid. And so we're having all of these contenders. So we've got Binance Smart Chain, ADA, we've got Solana, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's going to be huge attention and a massive sort of arms race to see who can get that smart contract platform up and running. And so I know I'm sort of spreading all my attention into one tiny basket here, but I think that it's going to be one hell of a fight. And so this is why I'm really bullish, and I don't care who wins. I really don't give a shit who wins. Even if Binance Smart Chain wins and it's completely centralized, I don't care. I want user experience. I want, reliability, etc. That's not what we're getting with a decentralized Ethereum at the moment. So I'm still really bullish on Ethereum. Cardano is going to be a beast. Binance is a beast. Solana is going to be a freaking beast. And Neo, when Neo 3.0 comes out. So I'm in Neo, but via gas. I don't actually own any Neo. I just own gas. So those 5 are going to be huge. Especially when you look at Solana and ADA, as in Cardano, that is insane. I think Solana's not being quiet anymore. It's actually rallying quite hard. But Cardano, everyone sort of looks down at Cardano and goes, "Oh, it doesn't really move that much." Well, it does. I got in at 20 cents in January. It's now $1.30. So it has moved. But what it does is it consolidates and consolidates and consolidates, and then just freaking goes ballistic. So I see $5 Cardano easy. I see $10 Cardano easy. So yeah, I just think whatever market cap Ethereum has right now, all of these other contenders will also have that at the same time. So yeah, anyway, that's my little 2 cents. Rachel said, I think my biggest business hurdle is learning about cash flow and mastering cash flow, which to me is like the engine of any business. Correct. I kind of lost my first business from lack of knowledge about cash flow. Yeah. And advertising. I kind of built Rome and just waited for people to find me, but that was hindered by my lack of cash flowing. Yep. I so get that. I haven't touched crypto yet. Still learning about it. I do trade in the stock market though. Cool. Quick one with the trading. I think I'll just sack in the stock market trading. Seriously, like whilst we're in this bull cycle, which is likely to last until September, January time, just stop. There's no point playing around in stocks. Honestly, just look at your return on time invested, return on capital invested, and like everything is pointing towards crypto. And as long as you stick with, don't go playing around with shit coins. But I mean, there's some really solid projects. I mean, if you look at the top. If we look at the top 10 cryptos out there right now, in fact, let's go to CoinMarketCap. So the top 10, so position 10, it's Bitcoin Cash. That is a shit coin. But even still, it's a $19 billion market cap. So, I mean, okay, let's look at position 100 on CoinMarketCap. I know I'm not sharing my screen. You don't really need to see it. It's Voyager token. It's got a $993 million market cap. Like, when people are trading stocks and looking at companies, if you saw a company which was basically $1 billion company, like, would you say there's that much risk in a $1 billion company? Well, no, not really. I mean, there's, obviously anything can go up and down, but it's massive. And so if you're playing with these big old companies or big old cryptos, then, a lot of that risk is mitigated. Like, I'm not that keen on Dent. I still think it's a bit of a shitcoin. I've got Dent, but it's still $1 billion company. Sorry, $1 billion crypto project, $1 billion market cap. So it's highly unlikely that it's just going to go to zero overnight. Whereas if you're playing around with a crypto, with like a $20 million market cap, yeah, that could go to zero very easily. So yeah, you got to be careful. Risk and volatility are not the same thing, folks, at all. So yeah, going back to your cash flow thing, it's crucial. Like in the early days, you got to be all over your outgoings. And even, I mean, actually think about it. At the moment, to be fair, I'm going through a bit of a cash flow problem myself. I've got myself into a teeny spot of bother. That some of my main companies actually are a bit cash flow tight. And I knew this learning point already, but this is actually a bit of a reminder. Because sometimes you learn a point and you're like, yeah, I know it. And then you just forget about it. And sometimes you need a prod in the eye to sort of wake you up. And I haven't been. So I'm not going to say the name of the company, but here's one company, okay, where historically is a great company. It's good. And I've just realized, so the thing I can't talk. The thing I want to say is that sometimes you're only one bad month away from being in trouble. It's a bit like I was talking with Adam last night playing Age of Empires, and he was like, and we both said, yeah, you're only one raid away from losing the game. And there's sometimes, a bunch of horses rocks up into my base and just pillages me and game over. And it's the same with business. You are literally one bad month away from lights out, or one bad marketing campaign away from being in a spot of bother. And that's actually what's happened to me recently. I've just done a marketing campaign where typically we spend about 15 grand a month. So, and what's happened is that 2 months ago, I spent 15 grand on Facebook ads. Last month, I spent 15 grand a month on Facebook ads in just this one company. And normally we have a conversion rate. But what happened in those 2 months is that for some reason, the conversion rate just fell off a cliff. And so now it's like, holy shit, I've just spent 30 grand on Facebook ads and had zero return, zero. So, I mean, it's not going to put me under, but all of a sudden, yeah, Rachel, your cash flow thing is just, it's just reminded me that shit, I'm like one raid away from my base getting destroyed. And it sort of, it doesn't hurt, or it does hurt. I spent 30 grand on Facebook ads and got zero return, because normally, and it has knock-on repercussions, because normally what happens is I wait for the sales to come through, and then I just take those sales and plop it back into Facebook. And normally they're more sales than what I spend. So normally I spend 15 grand and get more back, which is great. That's what business is. You're simply working capital. You're working that cash flow. But now, not only have I spunked 30 grand and none of it's come back, it means that the next month I'm going to struggle spending the same 15K a month. So all of a sudden I'm now raiding different bank accounts to basically get the cash. So for the next month, I can spend, 15 grand a month again, making sure, well, once I've made sure that, there are no gaping black holes in the funnel. Or not funnel, client attraction journey, etc. But yeah, it's a bit of a crude word, funnel. I know not a lot of people don't like it, but it's just an easy way to explain client attraction journey. And that's another point. There's so many, it feels like everyone's trying to be woke, with marketing these days. And people are going, don't use the word funnel, or some companies go, we don't use funnels. You can grow a great business without a funnel. And I'm like, bullshit. Every company on the planet has a funnel, whether you know it or not. Even these so-called gurus saying you can grow a business with no funnel. And then you analyze their business and you realize, that's your funnel. So for example, I saw I don't know, some random American marketer saying, it was literally a Facebook ad came up and said, hey, screw ClickFunnels and all these stuff. You don't need a funnel. You can grow a business with no funnel. All you need to jump onto this webinar and I'll show you all that sort of stuff. And so I've got like a disposable email account. So I signed up to the webinar, blah, blah, blah. I skim watched his, it was a live webinar, which happened to be in 15 minutes time, which is in every 15-minute chunk. It was an evergreen webinar. So first of all, people can see through that shit. And then I realized, well, what is his webinar? What is his funnel? His funnel is holding a webinar and then selling a 3 grand course at the end of the webinar. That's a funnel. So everything has a funnel. Everything. Even when you look at Tesla has always said they spend zero money on marketing. Well, think about it. So this is actually really interesting. So I've learned a lot about business itself just by analyzing systems. You can pick apart, you can dissect any business when you fully understand like the systems behind it. So when you look at, let's take Tesla. It's a harder one to pick up, to dissect. So when they say, we don't do any marketing, well, I know for a fact every business has a funnel. So it's a case of, finding out what exactly their funnel is. Their funnel is as simple as this. They have top of the funnel is Elon Musk. Okay. So he's there creating all sorts of noise. He's going to be hosting Saturday Night Live on the 8th of May. That'll be interesting. He's doing all these different things, and all of his activity at the top of the funnel, launching rockets, slamming Jeff Bezos on Twitter, all the stuff he does. What does it do? It attracts attention. And so, and combined with the amazing product that he has, Tesla's cars. So he's doing all of that on the top level. And what does that do? It gets eyeballs. And so let's say you have 1 billion eyeballs looking at Tesla. There is always going to be a natural conversion rate between 1 billion eyeballs looking at Tesla. And some of them will then go, oh, I'm in the market of a new car. So then a percentage of them will go onto the website, and a percentage of them will, scope out a car, and a percentage of them go, actually, screw it, buy. So in essence, that is his funnel. He is just like Richard Branson in the way that Branson can do all the Branson-y type stuff, back in the day. And then that just generates eyeballs. So every company on the planet has a funnel, whether you like the word or not. So I just use it for brevity, is in that word. So yeah. Sam Ovens is another one. I don't know if you've seen any Facebook ads on Sam Ovens. He owns consulting.com. So first of all, he is bona fide. Like, he is raking it in. He's making tens of millions of dollars a year. But I think he's one of the people that says you don't need a funnel, etc. But his whole funnel is a webinar, then selling consulting.com. So Cloud Wolf on YouTube says, have fun staying poor. Okay. Nothing wrong with being poor. So yeah, anyway, looking at I'm just got woke, go broke. Pete Bennett said, go woke, go broke. Yeah. Bijan, not having a funnel is the start of their funnel. Exactly. I completely agree. Rob Puzo, holding a daily rant on YouTube Zoom gets attention, lol. Yeah. So in fact, how about I lift up my skirt and show you my funnel for the WAP? It's pretty simple, and I'm pretty open about it. The WAP is basically an awesome tool. So I'm going to share my screen here because it deserves more attention. So if you go to the 𝗲𝗏.org, this is the WAP. Okay. It's basically everything, about business creation, money, investing, blah, 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 blah. So if you go to the 30-day free trial, it's get good at money, business, blah, blah, blah. And this 30-day free trial then gives you access to the portal. Now, the portal is where all the juice is at. Now, obviously, if you're only doing the free trial, you have only access to the free trial videos. And when I say only access, there's still a shit ton of videos in there. Really helpful videos, by the way. I've really curated the things that you need to know in the correct order for this 30-day trial. And there's some really cool videos here. But when you look at the WAP, if you become a WAPper, it's only 300 quid a month. 300 quid a year or 30 quid a month. Look at all the modules. Look at the amount of learning you can do. So if I was like a young 25-year-old 𝗁 that knew nothing about business, I would be all over this like a freaking tramp on chips. Can I say that these days? Tramp on chips? Oh, probably not. Oh, fuck it. I don't care. I've just given up on trying to please everyone. So yeah, there isn't a module you cannot learn on here. And I'm trying to chat with so I was really impressed by a guy on Friday who jumped on. I don't know if you remember. It was Pete Bennett. He's the YouTube guy. I was impressed by his stuff, and I've looked at his videos online, and he's really cool. So I'm going to try, and I just realized I don't have a YouTube marketing module. Obviously, I wouldn't put it at the bottom. I put it actually a lot higher. Whether I jump in bed with him and get a YouTube marketing module up here, or I find someone else, I don't know. I will end up with a YouTube marketing module here. But yeah, we're always adding stuff to this. So literally for 300 quid a year, which is what, 82 pence a day, this is the biggest no-brainer ever. So talking about my funnel, sorry, yeah, that was my plug, my shameless plug. For those on Facebook, you didn't see any of that. Doesn't matter. Jump onto the Zoom. What is my funnel? Well, I've realized doing Facebook ads to the WAP is incredibly hard. It is really freaking hard because it's in the self-help world. It's the businessy coaching type world. And so the cost per click, etc., cost per lead and CPA, cost per acquisition, is blisteringly high for the product price. whereas like 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗃, a piece of piss. So I have to generate different ways of getting eyeballs onto the WAP. So from the 1st of February, I've been holding these weekly live, a live session every weekday since the 1st of Feb. Every single weekday I've held a session at 12 o'clock. And they're normally, I think, nearly every single one of them is, between 45 to 60 minutes long. Now, is it a bit of a ball ache? Nah, I thought it would be, actually, holding this every day. I find it quite fun. But what does it do? It attracts random eyeballs onto the WAP. There's a percentage of those eyeballs that will become a WAP trialer. And then there's another percentage of those WAP trialers that will become a full-time member. That's it. That is it in a nutshell. That is my funnel. A funnel doesn't need to be seedy or anything. I don't hold any, like, a lot of people go around it the wrong way. They think, oh, I've got to be online marketing. I've got to be dodgy. And that's what people do. They create loads of fakeness. Don't create fake stuff. People can see through fake bullshit. Having an evergreen webinar is the biggest flag for me. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but the next time you click on an advert or a landing page and it goes, jump onto this webinar, and there happens to be a live webinar in 15 minutes time, that is a big red flag that they're doing bullshit marketing. And I've checked out some of these evergreen webinar softwares and they've made them really good. And I trialed one out just to, map it all out. I've never used one. But some of these softwares are pretty good. So yeah, you can make it evergreen. So every 15 minutes, there's a live session next to you. You're cookied up. So like if you miss it, you can't then jump onto another one because it'll know that you've already registered, etc. And also you can control the comments. So the user can create fake comments in the chat box, and those comments will come out at pre-designated times of the video. So it makes it feel like there's 100 people on the webinar, when in fact it's just you watching a recording and fake chat coming on board. So yeah, just don't do that. I think it's more damaging to your brand than anything. Yeah, let's unshare this. So I have to move my head because the phone's in the way. Stop share. Right, so let's look at the questions. Alexander, I can relate to the 1 month from failing. We literally noticed that we need to fire all staff and reduce expenses on all business after trying to expand. Otherwise, in a month or two, we could lose the business. We did it and recovered after 6 months successfully. Yeah, nice one. I mean, we all go through that. You have to look at your finances all the time. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank, but how you're doing from an accounting perspective. Yeah, cash flow is crucial. I made some huge errors in 2018. Huge. I think I talked about it in previous ones where my income dropped off a cliff, as in a whole bunch of my businesses just stopped making money. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. But then I was left there with huge outgoings, like staff. And it just, I was just bleeding payroll, basically. So you can get in that position where, you're trying, you're doing well. You have, a nice team behind you, whatever your payroll is. And then all it takes is a couple of months of bad, no sales coming in. And you're still left with, 10 grand a month payroll, 20 grand a month payroll, whatever it is that you're paying. And then that can just soak up and just evaporate any savings or any cash that you just had sat around in your bank account. So, and I remember one year, I think I mentioned it last week. One year I did 9 months of absolute beasting it. In one of the businesses, I was beasting it. I was like, this is the best year ever. And I literally, the money was coming in too fast that I couldn't actually deploy it fast enough. So that money was just sat in the business bank account, just building and building and building. And I thought, sweet. And I got a bit complacent. And then what happened? The last 3 months of the year were absolute dog shit. And then what happened? I ended up bleeding nearly all of the profits because we just end up with zero sales. And I was still lumped with 20 grand a month payroll in that business. And so the last 3 months, I bled basically 60 grand in payroll, 60 plus grand in payroll with no sales coming in. And that's tough. A lot of businesses that will kill. Most businesses would die if that happened. And not only did that happen to me in one business, that happened to me in 4 businesses in 2018. It was horrendous. I had 4 separate businesses all suddenly stopped working, and I had all the payroll to cover. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. And I'm still reeling as a result of 2018. I really am. So Chris, I absolutely love the WAP. Hey, amazing. Cheers, Chris. Rachel, you're currently going through the videos on the April to June free trading course. Ah, nice one. You're in the test drive. Nice one, Rachel. Pete Ben. Ah, Pete's here. Holy shit. I was talking about you earlier. Is he still here? Oh, yes. Ah, I can see your face. I was saying good things about you, Pete. I don't know how long you've been in here for. Let me know what you want to cover and I'll produce something. Sweet. That's music to my ears. Yeah, let's make some business love and get something good out there. Oh, that sounds dodgy. Sorry, I didn't mean like that. Rachel says, this model is getting quite saturated now too. There's a lot of people doing these subscription business lesson things. A funnel to me is just automation. If you're selling quality, people will follow the funnel. Yeah, I agree. Bijan, 𝗂𝗃𝗃 webinar ads won't leave me alone since I started following you. Yeah, it's because Facebook have gone, oh, you clicked on a trading website. I'm going to pummel you with loads of trading ads now. And then 𝗂𝗃𝗃, lol. So Aaron said, using the Facebook marketing, I found it possible to maintain inquiries with £1 a day per artist. From there, the conversion is complete in the studio. Nice. That's cool. Wait a minute. Let me just understand that. What is an inquiry for you? Is it someone sending you a message or what? I can't hear. Are you talking, Aaron? I can see you on the camera. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. So the inquiry would be somebody messaging us directly through Facebook or Instagram, and then we don't count it as an inquiry until they come into the studio.
Oh,
so
nice.
Obviously, Facebook has those, CPL, CPA, but we don't actually count it in house until they show up.
Nice.
From that point, once they're in the studio, the conversion rate's around 90%. So
90.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
And
is that because
the work's already done? So I'm going to plug the WAP right now. But the WAP, yeah. So anybody who's unsure needs to get on this. But the WAP in the Facebook marketing, it sort of helps you indoctrinate the clients before they ever reach you. They already knew they were going to spend that money before they ever came into the studio.
Amazing. And so why is it such a high conversion rate? Do they just see your artwork and go, holy shit, I need that on my body?
So somebody might have already been in the market for the last 3 months or so. I'm not targeting people who are ready to spend tomorrow. I'm targeting people who might spend in 3 to 6 months time. Because of our waiting list anyway, that sort of helps. But those types of clients spend a bit more time making sure that you're the right person before they ever reach out. So when that person does eventually reach out, that ad spend has been valuable at that point. And for every time that somebody books in, it's a £70 deposit straight away. So, we'll get 4 or 5 top quality inquiries per week just through this ad spend.
Nice. And what's the percentage of those that then go on to get another tattoo?
Most. Yeah. It's very rare. It's very rare you only do one person. Or one tattoo for one person. So we'll take maybe somebody will start, they'll get maybe a piece that takes 3, 4, 5 sessions to do, which is a total spend of around £1,500. Give them 6 months time. Our ads are still running, they're still being targeted, they're still being shown the new content, and it just keeps them coming back.
Oh man, that's amazing. And
so like I said, the WAP has helped a lot streamlining that. So if anybody's unsure.
Oh, amazing. And this is, it makes so much more sense now. Like the amount, as you said, the amount of other tattoo parlors that just don't understand marketing. You could, as you said, you could just basically clear up, or you could go into other tattoo parlors.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I was trying to figure out how much it's going to cost me to take the apprentices from 0 client base to fully booked. And I think it's about £400 per artist over the first couple of weeks. So we'll blow that in a couple of weeks. And then after that, it's £1 a day to maintain. That's it.
Nice. I love it.
Hopefully that helps, dude. I'll mute myself off now. So.
No, it's good. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Rob says, unfortunately, some people believe a guy with white teeth who is driving a Ferrari in Dubai, especially the Instagram generation, his funnel is to sell them the dream. I agree. You don't get rich from trading. Trading is simply an amplifier of the capital you already have. Chris, I can't stand fakeness, and unfortunately, the financial education space is full of fake gurus, which is probably why it's so hard for genuine people to get clients. Yeah, I know. It really, honestly, is just nuts. I experienced this firsthand, actually, by accident. So I think I've had 3 Aston Martins over the years, and I remember probably 2016. I bought my second or third one, I can't remember, and it was a beautiful V8 Vantage. I just love the shape of the V8 Vantage. It's just and had amazing wheels, and and I wasn't really doing it on purpose, but I basically was like, hey, got my new car, just taking pictures of the Aston, took the odd video of with the growl. Oh, by the way, you have to. In fact, it doesn't matter. I probably can't find it anyway. Oh, yeah, here it is. Just listen to the sound. 1 second. I just love the sound of a V8. This was back in 2011. There's my little baby. Oh, isn't that just filth for your ears? Lovely cold start. Anyway, I'm a car guy, so a lot of people that are like, yeah, whatever. Sorry, let's stop the share. Anyway, so I posted a couple of videos like that, and then all of a sudden I had like random leads come in because they saw. I think there was like a week where I just posted a load of pictures of the Aston. And I was driving. I was having so much fun driving through tunnels with my windows down and stuff like that. And then it just naturally grew like random viewers on, I think it was on Facebook or something like that. I can't remember. And I realized, why are we getting so much more leads than we normally are? And I realized, it's because, I'm posting bloody Aston Martin video pictures on Twitter. And it was Twitter, and I was attracting a whole bunch of basically the wrong type of people. You don't want people that are attracted to flashy cars and stuff like that. They are the worst students on the planet, by the way. Anyone that's trying to double their money in 2 seconds is the worst student on the planet. Like, you don't want them. And every industry will have that type of customer. So if you're, let's say, a marketing agency and you have a customer that says, hey, I want to spend this much money a month and I want you to double my money every single month, that is the worst lead you could ever ask for. And just say no, honestly. And sometimes they'll try and throw money at you, and just what will happen is, after endless amounts of disclaimers saying I can't double your money or whatever, you go ahead, do the work, you set up all the accounts, and because they still have unrealistic expectations, even though you've told them I'm not going to double your money, when you don't double their money, then they get upset, which is like, it's just nuts. So yeah, Rachel then said, yes, that's what we're working on right now. Is that our initial spend on attracting customers is followed by ways customers will interact with us. That is free for us. So total spend is the initial interaction. Like Aaron said, it's about what that person will do 3 to 4 months time in your business. Yeah, I agree. Not just 3 to 4 months, but a 2 to 3 year period as well. So cool. My inner tomboy is paying attention. But yeah, in fact, we had some questions here on YouTube. And so let's look at YouTube. Coach Carl, my early mistake, now I'm learning more from yourself and others, is parking a lot of my wealth in a rental property where now I know this could create better return with compounding interest. Secondly, I'm too leveraged into stocks from last year, trading on 212, but currently getting myself out of this. Cool. But lastly, I'm going hard in crypto at the moment. So some mistakes that can be rectified, but learning it all the time. Sorry for the potential poor grammar, currently out dog walking. Cool. Oh, I need to take my dog for a walk. Manny then said, it's a crypto question. Okay, so Manny is basically asking what's the best way to go from, get into a crypto, GBP or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't really care. I don't know why. A lot of people spend too much time trying to save, a fiver or a tenner by, buying, let's say, Cardano with, GBP or Bitcoin or Ether. It doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't. Just do yourself a favor and do whatever's easiest for you. So for me, I find it now actually easier pinging money to Coinbase. I buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. I then ping Bitcoin directly to Binance. And then I buy whatever I want using that Bitcoin on Binance. Or just ping the money straight to Binance. But I haven't got my accounts all verified up yet. But yeah. So am I wasting money by sending money to Coinbase, paying their extortionate fees, and then all the transfer fees? Yeah, I am. I'm probably, in fact, I did it the other day. So Ellie, after 4 years of trying to get her into crypto, she bought £5,000 worth of crypto like last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. And after doing it all, she ended up with £4,800 of crypto. So she lost £200 in just, slippage of fees and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. What's 200 quid in the long run? Yeah, you could probably work it out. But we just went for ease. I happily pay for convenience these days. Manny then said, and also, is margin trading on Binance tax-free like FXCM? No, it's not. It's treated as CFD trading. So yeah, you'll be taxed. Financial spread betting is the only type of trading on the planet which is tax-free. So, but yeah. Oh yeah. And lastly, we have the Facebook questions. Who said, Bijan, you say the cool-off period will be around January, but what if there's more lockdowns from 2022 onwards and more quantitative easing? Won't the excess printed cash go into crypto? Could be, but I'm just looking at the stock to flow model primarily. So, and with the wall of money coming in, I think that, the cool off won't be as in fact, I'm pretty confident it won't be as catastrophic as what we saw in 2013 and 2017. Do you think the potential Chinese invasion of Taiwan would impact the markets? If so, in what way? Quite a complicated question. Yeah, China has always potentially been about to invade Taiwan. For the last 15 years where I've been aware of that whole situation, China has always been about to roll into Taiwan. And it hasn't. Now, I'm not saying just because something hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't happen. That's flawed thinking. It probably will at some point. What will happen? Global stock markets will crash, but I think crypto will then bounce very quickly. I mean, imagine this. Imagine all crypto is halving today. What do you think is going to happen? All the big boys are going to be like, amazing gift from heaven here. And they'll just buy up. I mean, if I had it, I would, you would just buy up. And so it's a great buying opportunity if that happens. So I can't see cryptos falling for that much because it's a nice bargain. So what other questions? I saw a long one here. I can't find it. 1 second. Good question. Gary said, how do you pick yourself up when your back's against the wall? I struggled with anxiety, kicked in with a previous business. It's tough, isn't it? It really is. There's not a single week where I don't have some sort of anxiety about a potential business or whatever. And especially when your back's against the wall and you're losing money, hand over fist, and you're then sat with horrible decision-making forks. Like, do I make this person redundant, or do I do this? Do I pivot the business this way? And here's the thing that I want to make everyone acutely aware of, okay? And it's a thing called survivorship bias. So the easiest way to explain survivorship bias is, imagine going to a big seminar and 100 people in the audience, and on the stage there's a person going, buy lottery tickets. It's the best way to get rich. I made £10 million from lottery tickets. It took me 4 years of hard work. I bought a lottery ticket every single day for 4 years, and then I struck it lucky. Buy lottery tickets. That's the way to wealth. Now, that is a prime example of survivorship bias. Because what's happening is that, yes, that person may have made £10 million from the lottery, but he is he is an outlier. Winning the lottery is a statistical anomaly. It's insane. And we all know buying lottery tickets is not a clear path to wealth. It's just pure luck and gambling. And so that's what survivorship bias is. The things that you see online these days are just the people that have managed to do well. So look at Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, he's ballooned in wealth and popularity over the last 5-10 years, etc. But how many millions of Gary Vaynerchuks haven't hit it big? Loads. So you're seeing an example of survivorship bias here. So the warning I want to give now is very pertinent here, because every day, well, other than today, we've got what, 23, I'm looking across Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook. There's probably about 50 of us here today. And yeah, pretty much every live session I do every day gets about 50, 60 people. So I'm very small fry, barely anyone watches us. But you too could be falling into the folly or the trap of survivorship bias here, and thinking that everyone, like, for example, you could be looking, I don't know what your personal circumstances are, but let's say you're tuning into me every day or a few times, and you go, oh wow, this 𝗁𝗏 bloke, he seems to be doing well for himself. He seems, he's got the nice house, he's got the nice cars, blah, blah, all that sort of stuff. He's got all these businesses, etc. And so if you're not careful and you don't understand context, it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking, oh, wow, 𝗁𝗏's got it sorted. Like, he's nailing it. And people do that with celebrities all the time. But it's not the case. So no matter how successful and happy you think a person is by what you see on social media, etc., etc., it's always a glamorified, is that even a word? Glamorified? Glamification? A glorified version of someone. And it's like it's a positive filter. Now, I try and put negative filters on everything. So hopefully, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll see that I don't really sugarcoat anything. You'll probably see, I tell you all my problems, actually, or most of them. And so, yeah, I just want to say, like, although it may look like I got my shit sorted, I got huge areas in my life which I need to sort out. I'm an admin cluster mess. And there's always a time where a business or two of mine is struggling like mad. Always. I don't think there's ever been an occasion where my whole business group has been singing. For example, like, there was one business. So yeah, I'll give you another example. There's one business where, not last year, but the year before, it was making at least 100 grand a month profit, which is beautiful. And for a fair chunk of time, this business was doing anywhere between 70 grand a month profit to 150 grand a month profit. It was amazing. I felt like freaking, now I've only got 35% of this company, but still, that's some decent chunky profits. And then, and what does that lead to? It means, you start thinking about the future. Are we going to sell it? Are we going to get some big fat dividends? What are we going to do? Are we going to buy this company now? Are we going to grow? Blah, blah, blah. And you have all these conversations. And then what happens? March 2020 comes along and we lose 150 grand a month in revenue in the space of a 15-minute Boris announcement. Brutal. Literally. Boris Johnson, over a 15-minute period, goes, right, we're all doomed. I'm locking down the country. We as a company lost 150 grand a month in revenue. It's absolutely, it's just insane. 3 years of hard graft to get to that position, that beautiful position. Suddenly the rug pulled out of us. And so this is why I am chronically aware that no company is solid. Business, and even if you start thinking of businesses as nice residual income providers, etc., they're not. You can get a business doing really well, but you then got to maintain that bastard. You got to maintain it. Businesses are very, very, they're not stable. Even if you have, like, some of the businesses where we have a director, an ops manager, a whole ops team, you have like help 20, 30 staff, you're completely removed from it. You think, right, we've got it. Like, I'm not involved in the operations. It's making profits. The teams, the team members, they're having meetings together, self-organized meetings to discuss the growth. Like, that's amazing. Seeing it from, removed, like seeing your team members actually meet and try and plan stuff out. It's really awesome. But then shit happens. It could be coronavirus. It could be you just got a bad business model. Shit happens. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to add a negative filter to all of this. Yeah. So no matter who you're watching, whether it's Gary Vee, Rob Moore, Grant Cardone, even Elon Musk or me, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got some shit that they're dealing with in life. Some more than others. For Elon, it's like constant amount of court cases he's being sued with. Like, imagine the shit that he has to deal with. So yeah, Gary, you're going back to your original question. How do you pick yourself up when you're backed against the wall? For me, it's gratitude. I know it sounds really cheesy. It really does. It sounds really cheesy. But for me, I just come back to the basics. And the basics is, are my family healthy? Do I have 2 strong, healthy kids? Yes, I do. I've got a wife, which is great. Like, I've got food, warmth, and water. That's great. And I don't have to worry about, the basics of life. So that's cool. So everything after that is a bonus, I guess. That's the only thing that brings me back to it all. Yeah. So I haven't got a proper answer for that. What other questions? Sorry, I'm getting too doom and gloomy here. Gary, I've stopped listening and following to those influencers. They certainly had a massive part to play with my head going in the wrong place. Yeah, I agree. Same for me. Pete Bennett said, the internet, a place where poor people teach you how to get rich and rich people tell you money doesn't matter. Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. Money does matter. It's the oil of life, whether you like it or not. That's Chris. That's why I like hearing people's journeys through business, because it's really encouraging. Successful people are or have gone through hard times like everyone does. Yeah. It's and here's the other thing, like, this is something like, whether you're in it, it depends on what stage of business. So what you'll find is that when you get into bigger businesses, or just a slightly higher level of business, you'll find that most of these high level businesses operate through debt. And this is really, really hard to get your head around, because the average person, like 99% of people on the street, would think that it's absolutely risky and dreadfully, negligent to go out and borrow loads of money to plow into your business, etc., etc. But when you look at pretty much any business that's doing over, 500 grand a month, a year profit upwards, nearly every big business I know has always operated through debt. And that's all that happens. Look at any S&P 500 company, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, or whatever. They are constantly borrowing money. Constantly. Even Apple borrows money. Like, they've got billions sat in cash. Why are they borrowing money? You would have thought, well, they could just use their own money. And and the reason companies borrow money is because it's simple cash arbitrage, capital arbitrage. That is all it is. No matter how big you are, if someone's offering you an unlimited amount of money to borrow and all you need to do is pay 1%, well, you're going to freaking do it, aren't you? Because if you can borrow money at 1% and make 5%, that's a 4% arbitrage. What if you can make 25%? That's a 24% arbitrage. And so, however, when it goes right, it's great. When it goes wrong, it's horrendous. And I've been in this situation where I've got a business, I've borrowed money, I've gone YOLO, I'm going to build this business into massive growth. And then every plan you had for that business just falls flat on its face. And it hurts. It really does. Because what's happened is that business has borrowed a whole bunch of money. That business still has got to pay back the money. But all of a sudden, you've blown all of the cash or capital trying to grow that business. and then you're left holding debt with no income. Now that is horrendous. That is a tricky situation to get into. And then you the only thing you can do is either liquidate and piss off a whole load of people, which I don't do. I've never defaulted on an obligation, and I don't intend to anytime soon. Or you got to trade your way out of it. I personally always opt for the trade your way out of it. So it's hard. It really is tricky. And so, yeah, not a single billionaire that you can find has not borrowed huge amounts of money. Fact. Rachel, that's one thing I learned years ago from reading biographies like Steve Jobs, Shoe Dog, Richard Branson. They've all borrowed money, which I am loan averse. Never had a loan and probably never will. I just have contingency, which acts as a loan to the business, so to speak. Yeah, I get that. And by the way, most people are like that. But here is the thing, and this is what I know from empirical data and from just reading shitloads. By having that mentality, and I'm saying this with love, by having that mentality means it's highly probable that you'll never get to big levels of business, if that makes sense. But that's not a bad thing. You may not even have the want to get there. Like, you don't need to have a business that's making £1 million a year. You don't need it. You really don't need it. Like, if you can make a business that's just paying out £5,000 a month, that's going to solve most life problems out there. If you can take home £5,000 a month from your business, you've basically made it. So, and I think that's the disconnect. I see a big disconnect of, I guess there's like a group of people called entrepreneurs. And a entrepreneur is someone that really wants to get into business and is seeing all the 𝗵𝗶𝗶 stuff, that wants to get into business, but they never do anything about it. And then you have one type of entrepreneur that, it wants to get, like I was 10 years ago, wants to get into business, really trying to get into business, etc. But then you have some mental drawbacks or like mental handcuffs. Yeah, mental handcuffs. And Rachel, I had that as well. I used to be loan averse. Simply because when I was 18, I took out a £5,000 loan and blew it in a night playing online roulette. So I was loan averse, but then I quickly realized being loan averse in the world of business is a mental handcuff. You can grow your business much faster if you take loans, basically, but only if you can grow it. But then sometimes you'll take in on debt, whether it will be a loan or investment, and then it will fall flat on its face. Like right now, I've invested into a whole bunch of different companies over the last couple of years, and I'm currently an investing sandbag. So I am always on both camps. So I've got a business, a business too, which isn't doing very well, which is trying to claw its way back out of the red. But on the flip side, I've invested in other businesses, and they too are, have flopped. So yeah, the world of business is really interesting. So yeah, we're gonna have to round this up. This has been an hour and 20 minutes now, almost. Gratitude is key. Rosie said yes. Ditto. Speech. Gratitude. Pick yourself up. Continue the race like tortoise and hair story. Yeah. Virginia said, can I ask about crypto? I only use Binance, but would like to acquire ARR. Any tips? Really quick one. In order to find out what market any crypto is on, go to coinmarketcap.com. In fact, how do I share my screen? Here we go. Share screen. So coinmarketcap.com here. On Facebook, you can't see this, but I've gone to CoinMarketCap. Go into the search bar and type in whatever coin you want. So ARRR, whatever that is. Pirate chain. Sounds like a shit coin to me. Let's have a look. Okay. So it's got a warning here. $6. What is it? Okay, it's a $1.4 billion market cap. So it's not necessarily a shit coin. It looks like it's gone ballistic though. But you just simply click the market tab. Down here it says market. Click that. And then it will show you where you buy it. So it says Trade Ogre, CoinX, 𝗁𝗏𝗃𝗃 or 𝗁𝗏𝗃𝗃, 𝗵𝗏𝗃𝗃. But really, all of the volume is in Trade Ogre and CoinX. So that's the two platforms you buy. ARRR. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. And I think, is that the last question? Let's move camera, move my head. Okay. Rachel says, I do want to get big, but I hate owing money. So I just divert cash to a pot to reinvest later. Yeah. I mean, you can get to, it's just, all that's going to do is just delay the amount of time it takes to get to where you want to go. That's all it is. So yeah, hopefully let's call that a day. Hopefully you have a good bank holiday. I freaking hate bank holidays. Business owners don't have bank holidays typically. What happens on bank holidays is like you're still working, but all your team are not at work, and you're like getting frustrated that no one's at work. And no, I'm not a slave driver. I just, I think bank holidays are bullshit. So hopefully, yeah. See you tomorrow. Don't know what we're going to... Oh, in fact, I do know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're interviewing Stuart Miles tomorrow of how he grew his dental practice and sold it. And now, instead of retiring, he's gone straight into another business. I think he set up a marketing business, etc. So yeah, tomorrow at 12, we're interviewing Stuart, and it'll be interesting to see how he set his journey and how he sold the business, etc. Because very few people manage to sell a business. It's really tough selling businesses, really tough. Buying businesses, piece of piss. Selling, very hard. Right. Hey, Stuart's on Facebook. Hey, mate.